Easy Explain, Cartesianism, Discourse on the Method, Introduction, and Part 1. So here we're going to start getting into a philosophy known as Cartesianism, and this means it's referring to the philosopher René Descartes. You may have heard of him. The adjective used to describe things of Descartes is Cartesian. So who was he? Well, he was around about 400 years ago. He was French. He was born in 1596 in France, and he died in 1650 in Sweden. So his entire life took place about 400 years ago. That's kind of where we are here. And you may have heard of him because he's widely considered to be the father of modern philosophy. He does have his own unique philosophy, but sometimes it's also categorized under the larger umbrella of the school known as rationalism. And rationalism is essentially leading with the mind and leading with internal thoughts and reason. That is the highest value of where we get our truth and judgments from, as opposed to the other school at the time, still around today, but started around the same time, of empiricism. And that's really focusing on your experiences and your sense perceptions as the foundation of knowledge and what we can know. So Descartes was largely a rationalist, but he does have his own unique take on that as well. That's what we're going to start to look at here. He was very prolific. He wrote a lot. He's known for a lot of his writings. But for starters, we're going to look at Discourse on the Method, which he first published in 1637. And what is this work? This work is essentially his conversation, his writings, on a method that he thinks we should all use to think. This is how we should think. This is how we should do philosophy. And he's going to break this up across 6 parts. That's his own division. He doesn't exactly give them titles. At the beginning of the discourse, he kind of mentions how, what they're going to focus on, what he's generally going to cover in each one. So for our purposes here, I'm just going to call the first one the sciences. It's largely about the arts and methods through which we come to know things, at least at the time. It has a slightly different meaning than what we would think of now as the sciences, given how much technology has changed in the last 400 years. But in part 1, he starts with a couple big quotes that kind of, get us in his headspace. So an early one is, Descartes says, "For it is not enough to have a good mind, the main thing is to apply it well." So right from the outset here, we see how he's starting this idea of we got to use our heads, we got to use our minds. We all have them, we can all think, but we really need to figure out how to best use them. He does think there is an answer to this, the way that we should be thinking. And another one to kind of follow up on this, expand it. Those who proceed but very slowly can make much greater progress if they always follow the right path than those who hurry and stray from it. So again, this idea of there is going to be a method here. There is going to be a path to thought of how to think slowly, one thought, one idea at a time, instead of jumping to conclusions, right? Don't hurry and stray from this right path of thought. Follow the method, and you'll get to his philosophy. That's where we're going to be going here. I hope this helps.